Hey YouTube friends, welcome back to the channel. Imagine this, it's 11 p.m., you're staring at your laptop, your eyes are burning, and you just realized that you have to drive 600 miles tomorrow through a mountain pass to go to a campground that's been sold out for at least 6 months because the booking window opened 6 months ago and it was sold out within 24 hours of that. That's planning panic. What if I told you there was a much easier way to do this? We can use artificial intelligence like a personal assistant to outsource all the math, all the mileage checks, all the booking window calculations, so that you end up with a clean, concise spreadsheet and know exactly when your booking windows are, so you're not trying to book a campground that's been sold out since the Eisenhower administration 2 weeks ahead of time. Today I'm going to show you how I use AI to plan my van life, RV life adventures, how I develop what I call my RV constitution that I use to upload to AI to give it all the rules, all the trade-offs, all the conflict rules it needs to create me an awesome plan. And I'm going to give you links to all these tools that are on my website so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just download what I've already done, manipulate to fit your interests and needs, and have an awesome RV life adventure. Let's get into it. Before we dive into the meat of the content, I want you to know this is the second video in a two-part series. In the first video, which you can watch here, I tell you about how I conceptualize trip planning in general. That's actually really useful and will help you understand the steps that we're going through now. So if you haven't had a chance to watch the video, go back and watch it, and this video will make a lot more sense and be a lot easier to follow along. Second, as we go through, I'm going to talk about things like the RV constitution and my output and spreadsheets, etc. I'm putting a link to my website where you can find all of those documents so you will not have to recreate anything. So don't worry about taking notes. I'm going to give it all to you so you'll have it to play in your own adventures. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about is what AI is, because there's a lot of misconceptions about what AI is and how it's not Google. AI is like a really sophisticated intern who has read every travel book known to man, but it's incredibly forgetful and it makes a lot of bad assumptions if you don't tell it what to do. AI is a logic engine, not a search engine. AI does not surf the web in real time. So if you put in 20-foot travel trailer into Google, it's probably going to show you a bunch of pictures of 20-foot travel trailers and probably suggest ones you can buy. If you tell AI you have a 20-foot travel trailer and you're traveling, it will start to reason and understand that you can't stay in a tent spot. That's the difference. Google is a search engine. It searches a library. AI is a reasoning and deductive tool that can help you plan your adventure. So let's get into my steps of how you can use AI and prompt AI to give you an amazing travel itinerary, whether you're traveling for a week or like me for 4 years. Step one is what I call the brain dump. It's effectively the 40,000 foot view of your trip. Are you doing this for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years like me? And what are your goals? What are your priorities? What do you want to do? What do you want to see? Now, the United States is composed of hundreds of thousands of miles of highway, infinite amount of coastline, cities, etc. There's no way to see it all. So what I did was I set my priorities, and my priorities were twofold. First, I wanted good mountain biking. Second, I wanted to see all 48 states. Behind those, I had second tier priorities, like going to coastal areas or exploring some of America's great cities. And setting our priorities is important because we have to tell AI what our priorities are so we can give it what I call conflict rules, i.e., if these two events occur, here's the one you take as a priority. In addition to this step, we're going to talk about our limitations. So for me, I put hard guardrails on my trip. I do not drive more than 250 miles a day unless there's a 300-mile exception. We'll talk about that in the RV Constitution step. But I start thinking about what are my guardrails? What are my rules for things I need? This is also where we have to decide some life things. For example, I plan my trips and I tell AI to plan my trips so that every 90 days I'm close to a major airport in a major city. Why? Because I have some medical conditions and I fly home for those medical conditions to meet with doctors. It's much easier if I already have trips scheduled where it's easy for me to park my RV and go catch a flight for a day or two. So start thinking about those things. This is where I want you to brighten up all of those things on a piece of paper. What are my driving limits? What are my objectives? What are my primary objectives? What are my secondary objectives? What am I willing to give up? Those are the kinds of things you need to be thinking about in this step. If you don't tell AI what you want to do and what you want to see, it may assume something like that you're 22 years old with an unlimited gas budget and you're perfectly happy driving 800 miles out of your way to see the biggest ball of twine. That's why we have to tell it what our priorities are, but that's where we get into step two. Step two is deciding your priorities, your secondary priorities, and your trade-offs. What do I mean by that? Well, Obviously, we're not going to be able to see everything. Even if we had a lifetime, we couldn't see everything in the United States. So we have to tell AI, these are my priorities. For me, I set my priorities as basically twofold. First, good mountain biking. Second, seeing all 48 states. And a third on that, and a corollary of that, is good weather. So I told AI I want to be moving north in the summer and south in the winter. Makes perfect sense, but I had to tell it that. And once we have our priorities, then we can start talking about our trade-offs. Because again, the more information you give AI on how you want to handle things, especially when conflicts come up, the better result you're going to have and the better trip you're going to have. So for example, I have a conflict rule. It knows that I love my 1,000 Trails membership. Real quick, if you're not familiar with 1,000 Trails, check out my video here, my Basecamp 1,000 Trails strategy, to learn how I stay for an incredibly cheap rate all over the country. And if you are interested, use my referral link in the comments below to talk to a membership specialist, because we can potentially save you hundreds of dollars off the published 1,000 Trails price. On with the video. So I actually love staying in 1,000 Trails parks, but I gave AI a conflict rule so that it usually books me in the 1,000 Trails park where I stay for free. But if that park is more than 30 minutes away from great mountain biking, it knows to put me in a paid park. I want to protect my wallet as much as possible. However, where a conflict exists, my hobby, mountain biking, takes precedent over saving money. I told AI that, so when it plans my routes, it knows it in advance and doesn't route me right by good mountain biking to go stay at a 1,000 Trails park. Another example, you can tell AI, hey AI, I'm a coastal wanderer and I want to see every lighthouse in the United States, but I only want to do it in 70-degree average temperature. Do not send me to Maine in winter. If you don't do that, AI has no idea that you don't want to go to Maine in the middle of February to see Lubbock Lighthouse. By the way, it's a beautiful place, and I love Lubbock Lighthouse, but I wouldn't want to be there in the middle of February for no apparently good reason, because it's really beautiful in October. The point being, you need to not only develop your priorities and your secondary priorities. Step number 2 is developing your conflict rules, so you can tell AI in the next step, when we get to the RV Constitution, which priorities win. Is it your budget or your hobby? Is it weather or is it seeing lighthouses? If you don't tell AI that, it's going to make assumptions and decide for you. And that's how you're going to find yourself hiking the Badlands in 3 feet of snow in the middle of February, because you didn't tell AI you didn't want to hike it in the middle of February. The trail's still there. It doesn't know that it's cold and you don't like cold. On to the next step, how to make your RV Constitution. On to step 3, creating your RV Constitution. The good news is you've already done all the heavy lifting, step 1 and 2. And I've done the rest of the heavy lifting for you. Your RV Constitution is all the rules, all the priorities, all the trade-offs you developed in step 1, as well as some other information dumped into a document that you can then upload to ChatGPT or Google Gemini or your AI of choice to do your trip planning for you. Don't recreate your own. Go to my website. I've left you a link in the description where you can see my exemplar, as well as download a blank Google Doc with fill in the blanks that will make creating your own RV Constitution super easy. This is where you tell the AI things like your rig length, your maximum travel stays, your 1,000 Trails booking window, so they will calculate the dates for you that you need to book those stays. You can tell it all kinds of information. It will calculate it for you. That's your RV Constitution. The more information you put in, the better. For example, in mine, I have my maximum driving limit, 250. I have that I have to be by an airport every 90 days. I tell it that I have an Adventure 1,000 Trails membership, and then my 1,000 Trails booking window is 180 days. My Trails collection is 90 days. And guess what? For every output, 1,000 Trails not only tells me where I'm staying, but it gives me the date I have to book that stay in accordance with my membership to make sure I get the spot. The more information you give it, the better result you're going to get. So, put all the information from step 1, 2, as well as your guardrails, your fences, such as your driving limitations and your booking windows, into your RV Constitution. Now, real quick, why do we put that into an actual document? The problem with AI is it has a memory problem. It can randomly wipe its memory 6 minutes from now or 6 years from now. We never know. I've been in the middle of a conversation with an AI when it's telling, oops, my memory wiped. So by creating the RV Constitution, we can always re-upload it and start our RV travel planning right from where we left off without having to explain everything over and over again. That's why we put it in a separate document. Hey, real quick as a favor, if you're enjoying this content, please click the like and subscribe button, turn on notifications, drop me a line in the comment, and let me know your best trip planning tip. On with the video. Step 4 is what I call the magic handshake. This is making sure that AI respects our RV Constitution. So what you're going to do for step 4 is you're going to upload your RV Constitution to your AI of choice. After you upload the document, you're going to say, hey AI, read this. Do not suggest anything until you read it and understand it. Acknowledge when you have done so. AI will then say, ready. Once you have that, you have made AI your personal assistant, following all of your rules, not making random assumptions that send you chasing the biggest ball of twine. Step 5 I refer to as the funnel. It's effectively getting the big picture. So for me, because I'm doing this for 48 months, the first thing I asked AI to produce was a month-by-month itinerary for each state, i.e., in June of this year, I will be in this state. Why did he do that? Because it's much easier to reality check AI when you're looking at the big picture and to correct it at the big picture level than when you have 300 lines of data in the spreadsheet that I'm going to recommend that you get your output in. So the first thing I ask AI for is the big picture. If you're doing this for a year, you might ask it for each month what state it intends to send you in. That way, for example, it doesn't send you to Arkansas to mountain bike in January because you go, no, AI, that doesn't make any sense. And it's also important that when you correct AI, you tell AI what you're doing, why you're doing it, and you update your RV constitution. Those things will prevent AI from making that mistake in the future, and it will help it learn from its mistakes as it relates to you. So, get big picture first, then drill down. After I have my big picture, that's when I start getting into planning my day by day. And I want you to go to my website, link in the comments and in the description, download the way I get my output because you'll see that I added a column called action date. That is my booking window. So AI automatically fills in the action date for every stay because I give it the information it needs to calculate that. I don't have to calculate what 6 months is or a year is from the day or even 90 days. AI does all that for me. I just put the items in my calendar and go off what it says. So use the spreadsheet I give you. It's a Google Sheet. You're welcome to download it and absolutely use it. You can upload it to AI and ask AI to put your output in that format if that's something that it works for you. Once you have your day-by-day plan, don't be afraid to use what I call the magic eraser. I.e., if you decide to stay somewhere for 10 days, go in and tell AI, I moved this by 10 days. Please move everything accordingly and make sure I still make it home by Christmas. Guess what? AI can do all of that for you. It can do all the recalculations. Now you have a magical and evolving trip plan. But I will give you one caveat. It is absolutely important that at this stage, you keep reality checking AI because it will send you to Tucson, to send you to Phoenix, to send you to Verde Valley, to send you back to Tucson, to send you back to Phoenix. It doesn't necessarily have that logic yet. It knows that you told it not to drive you more than 250 miles in a day, but it doesn't realize that you don't want to go Tucson, Phoenix, Tucson. So always, always, always do a reality check at this stage. And now we're at step 7, the payoff. At this point, I'm going to encourage you to go to my website, link in the description and comments below, and download the spreadsheet I use for my trip plans. This is the spreadsheet I tell AI I want my output in so that everything's a separate column that's sortable and usable. And I can quickly make changes. The most valuable part of having a spreadsheet is I can sort by things like my action date, which is actually my booking window date, so that I don't have to calculate 6 months, a year from now, 9 months from now, whatever the date is. AI does all that work for me. It's in the action date. I can sort by it. It's quick. It's easy. I did all the work so you don't have to. All you got to do is download the spreadsheet. Even if you don't want to use it, it'll give you an exemplar of an idea of how to formulate a trip plan in a spreadsheet to make your life so much easier. It makes changes so much easier. I just highly recommend you at least take a look at it by going to my blog post. That is how I get my final output from AI, both on a macro level of each month, breaking down to every individual day of what I'm doing, what I plan to do, the weather forecast for that day, and my booking window for that part of the trip. It's all done for you. Go to the website, check it out. Now you have a worry-free trip that's been well designed and well planned, and you can easily make changes. That's the biggest advantage of using AI. And while AI is not a magic bullet, you absolutely need to reality check it. It really takes a lot of the stress off of you. I don't worry about whether I'm going to wake up to a 600-mile drive because I know I have a 250-mile drive unless I approved it. I don't wake up worrying about what my booking windows are because AI has calculated all those for me. Puts it in a nifty spreadsheet, and all I have to do is double check it. Even though it's not foolproof and it's not perfect, it still saves me hours and hours of time. I hope you'll use AI for your trip planning. Let me know how it goes for you. If you've enjoyed this content, please hit the like and subscribe button, turn on notifications, drop me a line in the comment. Let me know your best trip planning tip. Thanks for watching. Take care.